Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome, my dear students of Senior 1. Today, inshallah, we'll continue studying six influence traits after discussing in the last session six linked traits. Here we have studied the six linked traits, and today we're gonna study six influence traits. Six influence traits and six limited traits also. But we have to remember the six linked traits is a way of inheritance different from Mendelian inheritance, because the difference here is some traits are carried on 6 chromosomes. Some somatic traits, some characteristics of the body of some humans or animals. The traits are carried, the genes of these traits are carried not on the autosomes, but on the 6 chromosome X or Y. For example, the color blindness, this color blindness, why it is 6 linked trait? Because the trait is carried on the X chromosome. The gene of this trait, although the characteristic or the trait is a somatic trait, a trait in the body, not a sex trait, but it's gene carried on the 6 chromosome X. And it is the color blindness is the gene of the color blindness is a recessive gene, So if the female has 2 recessive genes, she will be suffering from color blindness. But in the male, only one gene, recessive gene, can cause this case, can cause the color blindness. But the female, she must have 2 genes to be infected by color blindness. So the color blindness is spread more in the humans male more than the human female, because it is the possibility is 50% in the male, because one gene carried on X and no gene carried in Y. So if the gene carried on X may be capital or small, may be dominant, yani no color blindness, and maybe recessive, so there is color blindness. So we have 50% in the male, but in the female we have 3 cases. Maybe the 2 genes are dominant, C capital, and this female is healthy female, and maybe 1 capital and 1 small, and also this female is healthy but carrying 1 gene of the color blindness, but it is a recessive trait, so it doesn't appear. She is healthy. And in the last case, if the 2 genes, C small, so the 2 dominant genes, 2 recessive genes, so in this case, the woman will be having color blindness. So the percentage in woman less than in the man. And after that, we have another trait, which is called hemophilia. Hemophilia is a trait carried also one of the 6 linked traits. Also, the hemophilia or the liquidity of the blood is caused by a recessive gene carried on the chromosome X, the same like the color blindness. This gene causes a case of blood liquidity due to the lack of some necessary substances necessary for the blood clotting. So if some person have the 2 recessive genes, he will suffer from hemophilia. And if he has injured, if he was injured or if he make a surgery, it is a big problem for him, because the blood cannot be clotting. The blood cannot be clotting easily due to the liquidity of the blood and the absence of some substances necessary for the clotting of blood. So it is a disease which is very dangerous. It can cause bleeding until death. The hemophilia may cause death, especially in the childhood stage, because the child, they have a lot of injured maybe due to playing and something like this. And if he bleeding, the bleeding cannot be stopped easily. So hemophilia is a very dangerous disease due to liquidity of blood, due to a recessive gene carried on the chromosome X. Carried on the chromosome X. So it is considered one of the 6 linked traits. One of the 6 linked traits. And now we can go to another type of inheritance, which is 6 influenced traits. 6 influenced traits. The meaning of 6 influenced traits, these traits are located on autosomes. The genes are located on the autosomes. So it is like Mendelian inheritance. The genes are located on autosomes. The characteristic is a body characteristic, and the genes are carried on the autosomes. But why it is 6 influenced? Does it affected by the sex or the gender? Yes, it's affected by the hormones, the sex hormones. We know that the male have sex hormones like testosterone hormone, and the female has other hormones which are estrogen and progesterone hormone. These hormones play an important role in the sex influence traits. The gene is affected, the gene of these traits is affected by the hormones, especially the male hormones, the testosterone hormone. Sometimes the sex of the living organism act to modify the dominancy of some traits. This means that the hormones, the sex hormones, act as a condition in the action of the gene, help the gene to make its a dominancy. Where the act of the gene is influenced by the male or female sex hormones, testosterone or estrogen or progesterone, such as the presence of the horns in the cattle. We know the cattle or the cows, the male only have horns. Also the sheep. If you see the sheep, you can see the horns in the male. And the goat, the male goat has horns. And some deers and some animals, a lot of animals have horns. The male only have horns. Why the male only have horns? Due to the effect of the gene appear in the presence of the male sex hormones. And the baldness in the humans. Some people have falling of hair or baldness, and this increase in the case of human male more than in the female, due to it affected by the sex hormone, testosterone hormone. The hormone help the gene to do its function and to be dominant in this case. So the meaning of sex influenced, that it is influenced by the effect of the sex hormones like testosterone hormone. For example, here we have the baldness. The baldness, we have a problem here about the baldness. The gene can express itself in the male if there is one dominant gene only. The gene can express itself in the male by the help of the testosterone hormone in the presence of one gene, dominant gene only. But in the female, it must be 2 dominant genes to have the baldness or to have the falling hair in the female. So we have here a normal hair mother because it has 1 plus only. 1 plus only means it has 1 dominant gene only. We have here 1 plus B plus. This means we have 1 dominant gene only. It is not enough to make this woman has baldness or to has hair falling. So 1 gene only in the female is not enough. But here in the male, So this female is normal hair. This female has a normal hair. It doesn't have a hair falling or a baldness. But here the father is bald-headed father. The father is bald-headed. Why he is bald-headed? He has hair falling. Why? Because there is one dominant gene. But the dominant gene, one enough for appearing this trait. The gene can work if there is one dominant gene only in the male, not in the female. Why this happen? Because the male sex hormone help in the action of the gene. The male sex hormone help in the action of the gene. So the man here have baldness, but the woman has normal hair. The man here has baldness, but the woman has normal hair. Why? Although they have the same structure, B positive, B positive, B, but because the presence of the sex hormone, the male sex hormone, which help the gene to do its function. So we have here the gametes. The gametes will be B positive. There is one dominant gene only, and we have B only without positive, one gene of the hair falling found in one gamete, and there is no gene in the other gamete. And here also the gametes of the father, one gamete has the gene and the other gamete has no gene. For producing F1 by making the possibilities, this may be come with this one, this gamete, with this gamete will be B positive positive, two genes of hair falling. So this man or woman, the boy or girl, the boy and the girl, if it is a boy or a girl, if it is a male or a female, he has two dominant genes. So does he have a hair falling or not? Baldness or not? Can you expect?
Have.
Of course he have hair falling. If he is a boy or a girl, although he is a boy or a girl, because he has two genes. So a boy or a girl will be suffer from a hair falling. A boy or a girl, both of them will suffer from hair falling because there is two dominant genes. Two genes of hair falling are found. But here we have B positive B, B positive B. We have one gene only of hair falling here and here. If he is a boy and if he is a girl, if this offspring, if this child was a boy, a male, he will suffer from hair falling or baldness. But if she is a female, does she suffer from hair falling?
No.
No. So only if he is a boy, he will suffer from hair falling because the gene affected by the action of the hormone, the sex hormone. So if he is a boy, he will suffer from hair falling. But if she is a girl, she will not suffer from hair falling. She has a normal hair like her mother. And finally, if we have B without any gene, is he suffering from hair falling, a boy or a girl? Is he suffering from hair falling or baldness?
No.
No. Also, because there is no gene at all, no gene of hair falling at all. So here, the difference between the male and the female is the presence of the sex hormone, which help in the action of the gene. If there is a male sex hormone found, so the gene can work if there is one dominant gene only. So this man is suffering from hair falling, but the woman doesn't suffer from hair falling, although she has the same structure of the man. doesn't suffer from hair falling, although she has the same genetic structure of the man. But the reason here is the effect of the sex hormone. The sex hormone help in the action of the gene. The sex hormone help in the action of the gene. So in the boys, the percentage, if they are the offspring were boys, the percentage will be 3 hair falling or 3 bald and 1 normal. And if they are girls, if the offspring are girls, the percentage will be 3 normal and 1 hair falling. Okay? In here, if we take the percentage, if we make the result, this result boys and girls, if we have all offspring are boys, the percentage will be 3 have baldness and 1 is normal. And if they were girls, the percentage will be 3 normal and 1 has hair falling. This is an example of a sex influence trait in the human, which is hair falling trait. The baldness is a trait. The baldness is a trait attributed to the presence of the dominant gene responsible for hair falling, and it's affected by the masculinity hormone. The male sex hormone is called masculinity hormone. The phenotype of the hybrid genetic structure, اللي هي B positive B, is different from male from female. The hybrid B positive B. If he is a male, B positive. This is the one gene only is found of hair falling. If he is a male, and if this genotype is a female, if he is a male, and if she is a female, if he is a male and if she is a female, he has hair falling. And here, if she is a female, it doesn't have hair falling. She is a normal, due to the help of the male sex hormones. One gene is enough in the male, but it is not enough in the female to appear the trait. The baldness appears in the males in 2 cases. In the pure genotype B positive, and in the hybrid genotype B positive B, due to the effect of masculinity hormone, while the hair falling trait in the females appear only in the pure genotype B positive due to the absence of the male sex hormone. The individuals with the genotype BB with no positive at all, so in both sexes, are not suffer from hair falling. But this man suffered from hair falling. He may be B positive. He may be B positive. He may have 2 genes, and he may have 1 gene only. He may have B positive 1 gene only. Also, the man can have 1 gene only. He can suffer from hair falling. But the female, she must have the 2 genes dominant, to the trait for appearing this trait, the hair falling. Must be positive. The 2 dominant genes are found. Only in this case, the hair falling appear on the woman's head. So now we can conclude why the hair falling or the baldness is spread more in the males more than in the females. We can explain now why the hair falling is more spread in the males more than in the females. One dominant gene only can affect and can cause the hair falling, but it must be 2 genes to have the hair falling in the female. Now we have finally the 6 limited traits. 6 limited traits. The meaning of 6 limited traits, the meaning of 6 limited traits, there are some traits considered or constricted to one sex only. One sex only have this trait. The other sex don't have. The other sex, the individual of the other sex don't have it at all. To the difference of the sex hormones of each sex. These genes are responsible for the appearance of some traits such as the milk production, which is limited for females only, because the females only can be pregnant and can give birth. So the milk production is a trait found only in the females, not found in the males at all. So it is sex limited trait. It is limited to one sex only. It is, of course, for the females, not the males. So the females have a certain sex hormone help the gene to express its effect. So the production of milk to feed the baby, this only for females. This trait is limited in one sex only, which is a female. Also, the secondary sexual characteristics in the human, such as the beard in the man. The male only have a beard or a mustache. And also, the ability of the female in the birds to lay eggs. It is limited for the females only. The ability to lay eggs is a trait limited only in the females of birds. The male don't have this trait at all. So the sex limited trait is a trait which is limited to one sex only due to the gene which help the sex hormones in their effect. And these traits are found only in one sex only, like the production of milk in the human female and some animals, and the ability of female to lay eggs in the females of birds and reptiles, and also the beard in the man only in the male. It is also a sex limited trait. Finally, the last part of the lesson, the importance of medical examination before marriage. The importance of medical examination before marriage. Why the importance? There is a very important reason to make medical examination before marriage. Why it is very necessary? We have to make series of medical examination carried for the person who will get married. Why it is very necessary? Why it is very important? Firstly, to be sure that they are free from the infectious diseases such as AIDS and hepatitis. So this disease may transmit from the male to the female or vice versa. And genetic diseases such as thalassemia. Some diseases such as genetic diseases, thalassemia, you must test about, and this is a genetic disease can be inherited for that child. So to protect the new kids from some diseases, we have to make some medical examination before marriage to protect the new offspring and to protect the other person in the marriage. Giving a medical counsel about the possibility of transmission of previous diseases to the partner or offspring in the future. So to protect the other partner in the marriage and to protect the offspring from this marriage, from the transmission of these diseases, we have to make the medical examination before marriage, and providing the choices or alternatives to who will get married in planning for healthy family. If we want to make a healthy family, we have to test uh, and we have to make some examinations like the blood group, like the infection testing for infectious diseases, and so on. Importance of medical examination before marriage: giving birth to healthy children, limiting the spreading of the genetic diseases and the cognitive deformities and the mental retardation. Of course, it is better to make the medical examination to avoid spreading of the genetic diseases like thalassemia and cognitive deformities and the mental retardation. These problems happen if we don't know before the marriage about ourselves. You have to make the medical examination. Avoid the financial and the psychological and social loads when the children is infected with the genetic disease. If we have a child, for example, has Down syndrome or Klinefelter syndrome or something like this, we will suffer a lot socially and psychologically and financially. We will have a big problem in this family to treat with this case and to help in treating with this case. So we have to make the medical examination before marriage. It is very important. Now we come to the end of the lesson, and we come to the end of the chapter. Inshallah, next session will be exercises on this chapter. We'll answer some questions about the chapter and the unit, and after that we'll go to unit 4, inshallah, the next after the session after, inshallah. I will leave these questions for you today to try to answer, and we will discuss them together, inshallah, in the next session, inshallah. I will finish the session here. Thank you, Ruqayya. Do you have any question about this today?
No.
Is it easy? 6 linked, 6 influenced, and 6 limited. Can you differentiate between them? You have 3 examples of inheritance: 6 limited traits, 6 influenced traits, and 6 linked traits. Okay, we have to compare between them very well. We have to study them very well. 6 linked characteristics. The genes are carried on the 6 hormones, and 6 influenced. The genes are carried on the autosomes, but they are affected by the hormones. They are affected by the male or the female hormones. And finally, 6 limited traits, the traits which are found on one sex only, not in the other sex. Okay, due to the affection of the hormones in this individual. Finally, importance of medical examination before marriage to avoid the diseases, to make a healthy family, to limit spreading of the genetic diseases and congenital deformation and the mental retardation, and avoid financial and psychological and social loads on the family. Thank you. Until we meet again, thank you and goodbye. I want you to try solve some questions about what we have studied, inshallah. Okay, Ruqayya?